welcome to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT AM 1110. And I think my sound's okay, Allie, is it? There we go. And also on Channel 18 Valley TV. And don't forget, you can also check us out on YouTube. Each episode of the Albert and Billy Show is on YouTube. Just type in the Albert and Billy Show YouTube and you can pull all the episodes up and give us your feedback. And you can also go to our Facebook page, the Albert and Billy Show, and you can ask questions and leave comments. And we are joined today by Mr. Chris Butler. I'm going to call him Chris. Chris Butler, he is with, well, U.S. term limits, right?
That's correct.
I like that.
Is that on the state level only?
It is I am the state director for U.S. term limits. And
Oh, you're a state director?
yes, sir. And we're operating in about 10 or 12 other states here. I know that we're in Georgia and Alabama, Utah, West Virginia, Texas, even as far north as Alaska.
Wow.
So we're it's like the ZZ Top song. We're nationwide.
Yeah.
Have you been to Alaska lately?
I've never been to Alaska, no,
Man,
sir.
I would love to.
One day
I would love to go to Alaska.
on my bucket list.
The last frontier. I want to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, as to
I want to see the Northern Lights. Oh, Alaska's got a famous politician, boy, Sarah Palin.
Yes. That's
She got famous, didn't she?
Yes, she
as
did.
famous as you can get.
I know it. Whether they loved her or hated her, let's talking about her. She blew up. She got real famous. Well, tell us a little bit about U.S. term limits. I'm definitely in favor of term limits. I think a lot of them are up there way too long and get too comfortable. And it's really sickening, some of the perks that they get. Like when they retire, I'm pretty sure they still get paid insurance.
Yeah.
That is so messed up.
A lot
So
of them
messed
stay
up.
strictly for the benefits, you know. I mean,
Of course they do.
they'll start out, and some of these guys will start out and they're 30 years old, and they'll stay until they're 90. I know you think I'm exaggerating.
No.
You look at Strom Thurmond,
Yeah.
you look at Bob Byrd out
Yeah.
in West Virginia.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was so bad, these guys were in their 90s, and I think in the case of Strom Thurmond, and if I'm wrong, someone can correct me, but I mean, it was so bad, he was just about comatose, and they had to wheel him in for one last vote. You know, it's like, well, that's not, he's got a do not resuscitate order, but no, we got to wheel him in for one last vote. And, you know, like they get the special card.
That's funny.
Speaking of term
Yeah.
limits, what are the term limits for a senator and a representative?
Well, currently there are none. I mean, you see the President of the United States.
Or he has?
He's the only one with two
I mean,
terms.
They're really, well, up from George Washington all the way until Franklin Roosevelt. You know, all the presidents abided by this two-term limit. You know, it was a self-imposed rule. It was not mandatory. And then Franklin Roosevelt served 3 terms,
Yeah.
and then 3 or 4 months into his 4th term, you know, at the conclusion of World War II, he was frail, and he died.
Yeah.
And then it was at that point that the powers that be added an amendment to the Constitution that said a president cannot serve.
Right. So
Yeah.
now it's 2 terms.
It's 2
But I don't
terms.
understand why they didn't go and make that for Congress too.
They did.
I don't think they were thinking.
Guess who makes the laws?
I know. You're
Well,
right.
If you go back and study the history, George Washington wanted term limits. Thomas Jefferson wanted term limits. They just couldn't get it through, and they imagined that one day, you know, it would be a necessity. Now, before the industrial,
I think it is.
yeah, before the Industrial Revolution, you know, if you wanted to serve in the Senate or in the House of Representatives, you had to, you know, leave your business or your farm for 2 years or 6 years or whatever the period was, and it was a hardship.
Yeah.
And you wanted to you know, do your bit for God and country, and then you wanted to come
Right.
back home.
Yeah.
Now that we have automobiles, and I mean, you could fly from Knoxville to D.C. and probably be there in less than an hour.
Exactly.
You know, these guys, they stay up there. They forget about the folks back home.
Yes, they do.
They buy a
Yes,
house
they
in
do.
Virginia,
Yeah.
and
And the pay scale is much better.
They start
Right.
living the good life and they get greedy. That's the bottom line. That's what it is. Greed.
Well, but
They get greedy.
some of them legitimately.
And they like the power.
yeah.
Well, that's true. But some of them legitimately are good politicians.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, and
Yes.
they're good at it.
Yes.
And so the people back home keep putting them back in there.
Oh yeah.
That's some of it. But now,
Well, I
I'm not
agree
going to
with that.
say how the pendulum swings as far as how many needs to be there and how many needs to be gone from there. I'm not saying that. But some of them are legitimately good politicians. They know what they're doing, and they do it for the good of the country.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a few of them.
Okay.
There's just not very many
Same
anymore.
is true on your local scene.
Yeah,
Teachers. You
yeah.
have some teachers that are wonderful teachers. You have some maybe they're just new at it, not real experience.
I think my view on locals is, I guess every county and town should vote on that, how they want the terms. But when you come into Congress and Senate, things like that, that affects the whole country. And there's we're talking about a lot of money that they're making. Something needs to be done, definitely.
Well, this man is going to do it.
I hope so. I wish him all the luck
So what are
in the
your
world for that.
responsibilities, Chris?
Well, canvassing the state of Tennessee, talking to people how they feel about term limits. I was running around Pikeville 2 weeks ago, just going from business to business, and I would say 90% of the people that I talked to said, absolutely, I'm in favor of term limits for members of Congress, because a lot of people here in Pikeville told me explicitly, we feel forgotten, we feel abandoned, we feel like the powers that be in Washington, D.C. aren't paying attention to us. We feel like instead of making our case to Washington, D.C., we feel like they come back here and they're making their case to us. And you know, to an earlier point I was making, I mean, they buy a house in Virginia.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they get sucked into the vortex that is Washington, D.C. They get tied in with the lobbyists, and they spend more time fundraising than actually legislating.
Exactly.
I would say the number one culprit in the whole scheme of things is the lobbyists.
Oh, yeah.
That's what kind of flavors the enhancement to stay a little longer.
That's where a lot of that crooked stuff goes on, is the lobbyists.
But now let me tell you, right on the other hand, I have seen people from Pikeville go up there and lobby.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously there's good people that do it too.
Well,
but,
I mean, there are causes that the locals here have had to go to the powers that be, as you referred to them, and present their case on a certain issue. And I cut meat for 18 years, and I can remember slicing many a country ham to serve to our senators up there in Washington to get them to listen to our pleas at the time.
Right. Yeah.
Tennessee country ham breakfast, that get them attention.
Now you got me hungry.
That would.
Well, but yeah, a lot of the incumbents have a 90% re-election rate. A lot of it is because of money they get from the lobbyists. They have the name recognition.
Exactly.
And let's say you and I want to compete against, you know, the congressman or the senator. We can't do it because we don't have the money. We're not tethered to the lobbyists.
Exactly.
And, you know,
makes it almost impossible, doesn't it?
The lobbyists are on record saying that they hate having to break in a new guy, you know?
Wow.
That's what they say.
And here's another thing.
I can believe that.
Take Corker, for instance. Corker had a name recognition to begin with because of his mayor's position over in Chattanooga. Okay, those politicians that maybe you'd be in favor of them having a limited term, but you throw someone up against them that is a relative unknown, what's the chances of getting elected?
Absolutely.
Because you're going against the well-known, and you are an unknown.
Exactly, that's true.
And Corker term limited himself. I think that was a special set of circumstances. I think that, of course, I think that if he wanted to run again, he probably would have won.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think that he had some type of inner conflict or moral conflict with Donald Trump.
Oh, you really think so?
I think you're right about
stating
that.
the obvious here. But
I think so.
I don't know. He term limited himself, and you know, there are a lot of other viable candidates out there on both sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
they'll come to the top too.
Yeah, they will.
They'll float around.
Eventually, you got to get new blood in there. At some point, you got to.
Well, you know, this is a bipartisan issue. It's a nonpartisan issue, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Right.
I saw a video of Barack Obama delivering a speech making the case for term limits. He said that fresh blood is needed, new ideas are needed, and he was basically admitting that 2 terms were enough for him.
See?
So,
and I don't agree with him about much, but he's right about that.
Well,
he's right.
Ronald Reagan delivered a speech I saw on YouTube making the same case. This is not a Republican or Democrat issue.
No, because it affects both parties. It's just they got to do something about it.
To argue in favor of those men that are in position now, and maybe they've been there 2 terms or 3 terms, if they have the expertise and you have a crucial period of time in history that you need someone with experience rather than throw someone into the fire that knows boo coodle about anything, the voters might, if you come up to the term limits, they might think, well, now, it's not always the wise thing to do to get rid of experience.
You make a
that'll be an argument for it, of course,
You make a very valid point that there are people who are good people. One thing I've always said is, yes, they are good people, but they could serve a couple of terms and they could come back to the private sector and do good things for this area. Be beneficial. Absolutely.
That's true.
But you make a very valid point, but I've always said that those people could come back home and look at the grand scheme of it all. Yes, there are good people up there, but our country's national debt has tripled or has doubled in the past 10 years. I mean, I was reading a news report. It's now $20 trillion, okay? 10 years ago, it was less than half of that.
Well, when Clinton left, it was 0.
Yeah. Well, you got to ask yourself, like, is it really working? Yes, we got good people up there, but
it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Because you can't pay the interest on 20 trillion.
20 trillion is ridiculous.
I can't pay the interest on my debt.
Oh, I thought I had bad debt, and then I look at what the country's paying.
That's why we can't go off and save all these other countries that we try to save, especially countries that hate us and want to see us dead. And we're spending millions of dollars trying to save them. It makes no sense.
How many countries do you think love us?
Oh, there's a few, I'm sure, because we protect
more
them.
Than one,
well, the ones
Israel.
that we protect. Israel would probably be about it. Maybe Canada likes us. They should. They're connected to us. But, I mean, I see what you're saying, but you prove my point even more. Why are we spending out all this money on people that don't even like us when we don't even have enough money to take care of our own country?
The number one reason, the world economy rests on the shoulders of the United States. And, of course, we rest on China.
I know. That's very true.
We're going to borrow this $20 trillion.
Exactly. That's why we owe a lot of money to China, I'm sure, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, well, I guess the bottom line is, do you or don't you believe that career politicians are a good thing? And
that's a tough one.
Well, career politicians rather than the novice.
Right.
Right.
So
I'll go along with you there. They got the know-how.
But
they can sit down at a table and talk with a premier or
you're right.
someone else that speaks another language.
But there still could be a term limit.
Well, some of those could be in the background. They don't have to be the number one guy.
That's right.
Because
there's ways around it.
You've got to have people that read these laws and do everything in the background, don't ever get their name mentioned.
Yeah.
Those are the people you got to have.
Well, I just believe that it's just good to have citizen representation, to have as many people as possible.
Taxation without representation is reprehensible.
Right. Right.
I like you, Chris.
Well, I like you very much as well. Thank you. The process, this is how the process works and what we're trying to do exactly. We want to have what's known as an Article 5, an Article 5 convention. And to have this Article 5 convention to discuss term limits and term limits only, 2/3 of the state legislators have to pass a resolution saying, yes, we're on board with this, and we'll send a representative to this constitutional convention whenever it happens. So we're in the process of getting started on that. Okay. Really, we just want a conversation right now about the virtues of term limits and how people feel. I mean, you've expressed your point of view, and just have a conversation right now.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot of conspiracy talk that if they were to have an Article 5 convention, that it would be an attempt to rewrite the entire U.S. Constitution, and that is no basis in fact.
Oh, really?
So, but we're just going to discuss that and that alone. And if,
Wow, I haven't heard that one. That's interesting.
Yeah, and if the convention can come to an agreement, like one single uniform agreement, and if, term limits, you could say 2 terms for a senator, equating to 12 years, or maybe
I think that's fair.
4 terms for a congressman or congresswoman, 8 years.
That's fair.
Then it would get sent back to the states, and if 38 states ratify it, then it's added as an amendment to the U.S. Constitution, the same way, 2 terms for a president was added as to the Constitution in the late 1940s.
I think that'd be good.
Okay, now,
That's not trying to rewrite the Constitution.
what is your opinion as to the success of your endeavor, what you are into right now?
Well, that greatly depends on what the Tennessee legislature does. I would encourage everyone in the audience to call their state senator or their state representative and ask them what their position is on this particular issue, because I've been in some legislative districts where I said, look, your particular state senator or your state representative is not on board with this. And they're shocked. They're absolutely shocked.
And they don't even know.
Does it make sense?
Well, 90. There's a poll, and
I'm sure 90% of them don't even know it.
well, 90% of the Tennesseans polled say they want this.
Oh,
But
I'm sure.
there are members of the legislature. Sorry, I got to get the nomenclature correct. Who are holding this thing up, and when the legislative session begins, we're trying to see to it that we can have Tennessee participate in this Article 5 convention, have a discussion about it. So,
And so your
Trying to get that
your
to happen.
responsibility then is to get your message out to as many people as you can, to get a grassroots effort here to contact the congressman in the state of Tennessee, in the legislature, so that when this does come to a crux, that you've got enough people that are qualified, that are knowledgeable, thanks to your efforts, that they can make a wise decision.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're looking for volunteers also. I mean, this isn't going to, I'm a one-man army, but we need more people to help. The grassroots people. And
In every county.
yeah.
Exactly.
So the best way you can do that, I'm not going to give my phone number out on the radio.
No.
But
Don't
I will
do
give
that.
out my email address. It's cbutler@termlimits.com. That's
Okay.
cbutler@termlimits.com. And we also have a Tennessee Term Limits page on Facebook. We've got about 30,000 people on there.
All right.
And we did a little plug-in for my appearance here. So
Yeah.
And
This will help.
Well, you're on
Yes,
radio
sir.
and TV today, so that'll help you.
yes, sir.
Hopefully we can get the message to all of our viewers and listeners.
We think a lot of people watch Channel 18.
They do.
Well, we certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. But y'all have got a really great town here. I was here 2 weeks ago. I thought this is a really great, pleasant place, and I love
Well, I
walking up and down the
appreciate that.
street. It reminds me of my hometown. And
What's your hometown?
I'm from Ruston, Louisiana. That's about 20 miles away from where the Duck Dynasty people
Sure
are.
is.
But I've lived here in Tennessee for the past 7 years, and this
That's
is a
funny.
great state. And
I'm sure that town's turned into a tourist trap now. Hasn't it?
yes, it has. When I went to the factory where those guys work out of, I mean, they had state troopers on the road. This is a residential neighborhood, and they had state troopers on the road directing traffic. I mean, they're like tourism buses, and it's like 10 years ago, nobody would have known anything about West Monroe, Louisiana.
No.
I mean, we're famous because that's where Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed and killed. And Terry Bradshaw played ball there, and Tim McGraw's from there.
I
But
forgot about that.
yeah,
though.
And Chris Butler.
well,
Yeah.
the infamous Chris Butler.
Yeah.
I don't know if they claim me, but I am from there.
Well, they might be for term limits. I hope they are.
I believe they're from Term Limits too, and
I would say a lot of people are, to be honest with you.
so we feel like the momentum is with us. I mean, 90% of the people polled. If we can just get some members of the state legislators who are holding out on this to agree to at least have a discussion to an Article 5 convention, then I think we're in business. But I would encourage everyone out in the audience to call their state representative or state senator and ask them where they're at on this issue.
I agree with that.
And if they say no, they ask why
A lot of
not.
people don't do that, by the way.
Right.
Not enough people do call the representatives. A lot of times, what I was saying earlier, they don't even know where they stand on the issues half the time. And it's important, I think, to find out where they stand on these issues.
Yeah.
I don't think enough people do that, though. They don't call them. They don't. But they need to. They
Hopefully
need
they will
to.
on this issue.
I hope so. And some people call. I'm just saying enough don't, though.
Well, I think Chris has made himself clear.
Definitely.
And I think that the ball is in the court of the voting people, voting public.
I think once you can get onto that convention, I think you got a good chance.
Yeah.
But you got to have some people out here that's pushing for it.
That's right.
Well, Paul Bailey is the state senator here, correct?
Right.
Call him and ask him what his position is. And I don't know who the state representative is here.
Ron Travis, wouldn't it be? Ron Travis.
Ron?
I know the name.
He's from Dayton.
Okay.
Ron Travis is.
Well, call him up and ask him where he's at. And, you know, I'm not really a telephone guy, okay? I'm more of an email guy. You go to the state legislator's website, you can look up who your representative is, you can just type in your zip code.
That's right.
You can find out who your representative or state senator is. He'll take you straight to it. They got his office phone number, and his or her office phone number, and his or her email address. You can contact that person via email. And if you see me running around this county taking petition signatures, by all means, I'm happy to get your signature, and we're going to send that members of the legislature.
So did you get some signatures then?
I did 2 weeks ago around here, and a lot of enthusiasm.
Good.
And we're going to send that to members of the legislature, and try to put some heat on these guys to agree to an Article 5 convention.
I think they could at least agree to that. They
very
need to
least.
at least do that. And then I think you guys have a good chance once you get them there.
Well, one argument you can use to compel these guys is, okay, if a U.S. senator steps down or a U.S. congressman or U.S. congresswoman steps down, that creates an opening for you. You know, if you're in the state legislature and you want to serve in other ways, well, you know, you can, go up the chain.
You could.
Yeah. So that's a compelling argument, I think.
That is a compelling argument.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I appreciate you joining us today, Chris.
I very much appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Oh, no problem. Come back anytime and keep us updated.
Absolutely.
On how it goes.
I will be back
We're
here.
in favor of it.
You will see my face again running around the street. So if you see me, don't hesitate to say hello.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for
having
joining us. Have a good one.
You as
and
well.
We'll be right back to the Albert and Billy Show. Welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT and on Channel 18 Valley TV. It is time for this week's trivia, which you have some did you knows today, but I have questions for the first time. Thanks to Linda Kilgore. Thank you, Linda.
Do you think this is fair?
Yes, I love it.
But I'm your elder.
Oh, well. Let's see if you know this one.
Oh, okay.
Burger King introduced the fast food industry's first gimmick, the first gimmick burger in 1957. What was it?
I wasn't born.
When you think Burger King, though, what burger do you think of when you think of Burger King?
I just think of a big burger.
Yeah, it is big. It's big.
It's king size burger.
It's called the blank.
The Whopper.
There you go. There you go. And I helped you.
Oh, you're a good boy. I like you.
All right.
I get that.
Now you do the did you know,
These are from the help that I got from Vern about the things that happened in Chattanooga. This is the year 1989 now. Everything that I'm using
That's right.
is from that time span.
I remember that now.
Okay. In 1959, did you know that Elizabeth Taylor and her new hubby, Eddie Fisher, spent their honeymoon at the Lookout Mountain Hotel, which is now Covenant College?
No, definitely didn't know that.
Who would know that?
Nobody.
But that's where they spent their honeymoon.
Okay, back to my questions, Papa.
You're enjoying this too much.
I am. Housewives, once again, we're in 1957, Papa. Housewives in 1957 could serve a home-cooked dinner without turning on the stove, thanks to the new bucket meal. You ever heard of that? The new bucket meal. What restaurant sold, the new bucket meal? I will never
KFC.
get, you got it. You got it. So you knew that one.
Well,
obviously.
No, it was a guess.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, you did good. Did the bucket kind of make you think of KFC?
I couldn't think of any other restaurant that had anything that sold by buckets.
Well, that's a good guess. Good job.
All right, my next one. My next one. Did you know that McKee Baking Company, now remember 1989. Oh, okay, I said 1959. This one is 1989. McKee Baking Company started in 1989.
Mhm.
Little Debbie, you know. They make enough cakes in 4 weeks to stretch around the world in 1989.
Gosh.
What do they make now?
I would like to know, because that's incredible
I'd like to
there.
grab one or two, do you?
That's incredible. Yes.
Stretch around the world in 4 weeks?
Well, I need to send some our way. This one's hard to read, so I hope I'm reading this.
You don't expect me to answer if you can't read it.
Well, it don't make sense to me, but it looks like Brazier. Yeah, number 3 there. Let's see if our producer can help me out
skip
here.
one if you can't read it.
Brazier cooked burgers.
Brazier.
Brazier cooked burgers.
Brazier.
And hot dogs
Mm-hmm.
joined dilly bars and banana splits at this chain in 1957. Okay, so it's an ice cream restaurant. A restaurant
Yeah,
that
that's
serves
easy.
soft.
Well, I
Soft
think
serve.
it's easy.
Brazier cooked burgers and hot dogs joined Billy bars and banana splits at this chain in 1957.
Show
So,
me.
So really, Shoney.
what's a restaurant you can go to that you
You
can
can-
get
a hamburger.
and a hot dog, or
Any
a
ice cream you can
Blizzard,
think of.
or, yeah, ice cream.
There's one in Crossville.
I have no idea.
Dairy Queen.
Wow. But we go there for ice cream. We don't go for hamburger.
Well, most people do.
The Blizzard.
Yes. A
Okay.
lot of these are involved around 1950. All of them are about 1957.
Well,
looks like.
Next, did you know? Before plastic came along, Tennessee mussel shells were used for making buttons.
I didn't know that for
The
sure.
Tennessee River produced a lot of mussels,
Yeah.
and those shells would be what buttons were made of before plastic came along.
Wow. Didn't know that one.
No, I didn't know that.
I think I've ate one of those things, mussel things at a restaurant.
I tried it one time.
Wasn't very
I
good.
didn't want another one.
I didn't either. No, nothing good about those. Anyway,
You got another question?
McDonald's McDonald's boasted 40 locations for looks like 4.4 million in sales. About how many of its restaurants operate today? Oh wow, so it started out with 40 is what she's saying. Now how many do you think there are today? That's a tough one. I wouldn't know this one.
500.
You think there's just 500 McDonald's? That's a terrible guess. Terrible guess.
2,000?
Worldwide.
Oh, that's right. I bet it would be what, 2,000?
It's more than 36,000. You were way too
Every
low.
little town's got, some towns have got 2. There's a McDonald's on every corner. Okay.
Oh, this next one's tough.
No, let me get this.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to figure out how you're going to get this
Did you
one.
know? Did you know that the nuclear reactor for the first atomic submarine was made in Chattanooga?
No. When I think of stuff like that, I think of Oak Ridge, not
yeah.
Chattanooga.
Why would Chattanooga be picked to make the first reactor to go in that first atomic sub? But they did.
I don't know. That is weird right there now. Okay, Papa, this one's tough, but maybe you'll get it. We don't have one of these though around here. Like it's a chain, but they're definitely not big around here. There might be one in Chattanooga,
How many
maybe.
chains do we have in Pikeville, Billy?
Oh, there's definitely not one in Pikeville of this for sure. There might be one in Chattanooga, maybe. Fast Food Magazine declared Billy Ingram to be the granddaddy of the hamburger in 1957. Name the slider serving chain founded in 1921.
21.
Do you know? You're close. You're close. Yeah, this place is kind of similar to Crystal's.
White Castle.
You got it. Would you have got it without that clue?
No.
Okay. See how nice I
Well,
am
the
to you?
slider, yeah. That's what you buy.
Oh, it's. I don't know if I've ever ate
You buy
one.
them in the freezer.
Okay.
You can get them at Save-A-Lot, you can get them at Piggly Wiggly.
Okay, that's how. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we don't ever eat no White Castle, do we?
I've never stopped at a White Castle.
I don't think I have either. I don't.
But I've had them in my house.
Right. Right.
Okay. Did you know that the Union and Confederate forces fought for 2 days at Chickamauga, and 34,000 men were killed in that 2-day battle?
No, I didn't realize that many people got killed. No.
Oh, the
I knew
number-
about the battle.
The number of people that were killed in the Civil War would blow your mind.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Okay, let's see what Linda's got for you now. Sonic Drive-In, known as Top Hat in 1957, which I didn't know that, revolutionized ordering with this technology. What was it? That's a tough one.
You take your order on roller skates.
That's a really good guess. You got a guess, Allie? Curb-size speakers.
Yeah.
We had to use one of those. We went there when we filmed down in Dunlap the other day.
Hey, listen, that's what they had in the drive-in movies.
Yes.
They had that
That's
speaker
right.
there by your car.
That's right.
All right. Did you know that in 1989, Chattanooga had 10 million tourists?
10 million, that's
In
a
89?
lot. So I would think be more than that now.
28 years later, well,
I would think
we've got a
so.
lot more attractions now.
Yeah. I wonder when the aquarium comes to Chattanooga.
Well,
I don't really
It
know.
would have been in the last 10 years.
Oh, aquarium's been there longer than 10 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was there in 1989 or not, though. I don't know about that. Yeah. Because I was thinking that would add several right
But most of
there.
it was Lookout Mountain and
Well, yeah, Rock City.
Choo Choo.
Chattanooga Choo Choo used to be very popular.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the birthplace of Chick-fil-A, and she's got AKA the Dwarf House. The Dwarf House? I guess that's what that said. Founded in 1946, is in which state? So,
Georgia.
did you? Okay, good guess. Or did you know that one
I
for
did.
sure? So Chick-fil-A was born in Georgia, apparently,
Yeah.
in
I heard
1946.
the brother of the originator speak at a church in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. You heard the brother up there. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Oh, I get around.
Now that's all of our questions, and
Okay.
we'll read some
I
other
got
stuff
4 or 5
later.
I got 4 or 5 of them right, didn't
Yeah, you did. Well, I think I was very kind
I?
with my clues, don't you?
Yes, you were. More lenient than some I know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now you might know this one. Did you know that former pro tennis player, the great Roscoe Tanner, was from Lookout Mountain?
Yes,
You did know that?
Mhm.
I figured you would.
yes.
Did you know that Hamilton County was named for the Alexander Hamilton that 15 years after his duel with Aaron Burr and he died, that was back in 1804, that's who Hamilton County was named after?
Oh, no.
The Alexander Hamilton that had the duel with Aaron Burr.
Oh. Did you know that one?
What about
Our
that?
producer knows it.
Okay, did you know that the world's first miniature golf course, the Tom Thumb, was built near Fairyland Club in Chattanooga?
No, I didn't know
First
that.
miniature golf course.
So Chattanooga could claim that it's the home of miniature golf.
Yeah, but Chattanooga has a
A
history.
lot of more history than we ever realized.
And lastly, did you know that more than 25,000 soldiers This was in '89.
Mm-hmm.
From 11 wars are buried in Chattanooga National Cemetery. 25,000 soldiers out of 11 different wars are buried over there at Chattanooga National
Wow.
Cemetery. And that was through 1989. Now you got 28 years added to that. What about that?
I did not know.
Now are we ready for sports?
Time for sports of all sorts, as you call it.
Well, let's. I guess first thing I want to talk about is the football game last Saturday. It'll be more interesting talking about that than it will be the one that would be played tomorrow.
I can guarantee it. Well, yeah, they're both going to be depressing.
But at Knoxville,
Last week's was very depressing.
Saturday, some of the South Carolina fans wore shirts that said, "Keep Butch Jones." Did you see them?
I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, kind of funny.
Yeah,
Now,
I did.
That's kind of psychology, kind of warps the mind.
Yeah.
They're telling us, you keep him. We want you to have him.
We can beat y'all when y'all have him as coach. I guarantee you Alabama fans will have that on tomorrow too.
Well, they've started a trend.
Yeah.
But that's the 5th largest stadium in the United States. Tennessee Stadium seats 102,000 plus. And there were only, out of 128 schools, we have the 5th largest. There were only 98,000, a little over 98,000 there. So that's minus 4,000.
Yeah, it'll get lower.
How many do you think? Well, they won't be there tomorrow. They're going to be in Tuscaloosa.
They'll be in Tuscaloosa getting destroyed, I'm sure.
But
I hope not, but.
South Carolina won in Knoxville last Saturday for the 3rd time out of 19 meetings. We had defeated them 16 times. They had defeated us twice in Knoxville. And now they defeated us 3 times in Knoxville.
Well, then we beat them 16 times in Knoxville, then I guess.
But you take the quarterback, the freshman that's thrust in there, Garrett Tano.
I think he done okay considering the circumstance.
But the last drive, he covered 73 yards in 72 seconds. And the last pass he threw with 1 second on the clock, had it been called,
would have won it.
Would have won the game. As poorly as we played.
Yeah.
But we went into the red zone we went into the red zone 4 times and came out with 9 points.
We got to be the worst red zone team in the country.
No,
they're really bad though.
We're not the worst. I think we're 112.
we're bad.
We're number 112 out of 128.
We're bad then.
That's not good.
No.
We had 253 yards of offense.
We have to settle for field goals way too much.
Well, we got 3.
Not enough touchdowns.
Now Medley is sick. And so this other guy,
the freshman,
thrust in there. He's a freshman. Can you pronounce his name?
I cannot. We'll just say that freshman that's doing pretty good.
Well, anyway, we got 1 sack and South Carolina got 7 sacks. That might be one reason our quarterback did as poorly as he did. But then some of the passes were dropped. That last pass was dropped.
Yeah, the receivers are not doing good this year.
No, they're not. They're not doing their job.
No.
Okay, future for Jones. Where are we in the waiting process? I told you last week.
I think winning Alabama is his only chance at redeeming himself.
Well,
and I don't even know if that would.
Would that stem the tide? It would have to for 1 week.
Yeah, it would for a little while, but I don't know if they're going to try to wait till after the season or if they're going to do it after the Alabama game. But I think it'll be one or the other. It'll be right after Alabama or it'll be at the end of the season.
I don't believe you can wait till the season's over. Because
I don't think so either.
Recruiting is too crucial.
And we're losing some recruits.
And so you're going to lose. But aside from that, you're not going to get more if you fire this coach at the end of the season. You've got a new man that you got to find.
That's true. It slows you way down.
Bring him on board. Then he's got to get out here and recruit, and he's behind every other school.
Yeah, you're right.
We've lost 10 in a row to Alabama. Now, what are our chances tomorrow?
This year, slim to none.
They're favored by 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns.
Unfortunately, that's probably pretty accurate.
Be a good time for an upset.
It would be. Butch Jones is probably praying for one, but I still don't think it'll save his job. They're losing too many games that they shouldn't lose.
Well,
they just don't look good this year. They're not a good team this year so far.
But you got to realize, in the last 2 years we won 18 games and lost 8.
Mm-hmm.
But now this year we're 3-3.
Yeah.
But we're 0-3 in the conference, playing SEC foes.
I know.
And
It's
South
not
Carolina
good.
should have been one of our wins that we were.
We definitely should have beat South Carolina.
Almost guaranteed, but wasn't guaranteed.
We should be at least 4-2 right now instead of 3-3.
Okay, I'll go along with you there.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not. So
No.
But now, also last Saturday, Memphis beat Navy. Navy was ranked. Guess
Which is
what?
very strange.
We have a team in Tennessee that's ranked now in the top 25. Memphis is ranked number 25.
I guess we'll just root for them.
But in the SEC, you have Alabama at number 1,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia at number 3.
Yeah, that's really good for the SEC.
That is really good. If you've got 2 teams in the top 3 out of 10 teams in the whole country,
Mm-hmm.
you're good, except that the rest of the league is also Rams. Florida they shouldn't lose the games they've been losing. LSU's been losing games. Auburn lost a game. They're not playing. None of them's playing up to potential.
Right.
And so Butch Jones is not the only one on the hot seat.
No.
Ole Miss's coach, he'll be gone.
They're having a bad year, aren't
Yeah. Well, of course they.
they? Which is first year though.
Probation too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think that several of the coaches in the SEC this year, if they don't turn their program around in the last half, and you've already got 6 games on your belt.
LSU would be one.
LSU would be one.
They've had a
And
disappointing
LSU,
year.
maybe they play Florida this week. I don't know. I can't
I don't
remember.
know, but that.
See, some of them, by butting heads, some coach is going to stick a dagger in the other coach's heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because one team's got to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And so it don't look healthy for the coaching profession.
No, it don't.
I'm glad I'm just a
Be a lot of
I'm
new
a disc
coaches.
jockey. What am I?
Well, you are now. There'll be a lot of new coaches.
Well, I'm thinking that's what it would be. In baseball, guess what?
What?
My Dodgers are in the World Series.
Oh, I did know that.
They won.
I did know that. Somebody
won 4
told
games. They beat
this morning.
the defending champions 4-2, 4-1. Chicago only won 1 game against the Dodgers.
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, let's see. Well, I'm trying to think who told me, but yes, they won 11-1, and they told me to make sure to tell you.
Home run after home run after home run.
Might have been Dan that told me that, but
now
they
Houston,
said make sure you tell Papa. And then I got a comment on Facebook. Oh, his last name is Wolf, Mr. Wolf, from Dunlap. Was telling me to tell you, I wish I could remember it all, something about the Dodgers and the Cubs, and something about the umpires not doing a very good job in one of the games. Do you know what he's talking about?
Listen, it just Dodger strength.
He said it went the Dodgers' way and that you would be happy.
Right.
Is that so? You kind of know what I'm talking about?
There you go.
That was on my Facebook page yesterday morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but now who are they going to play?
I can't remember who
Houston
they've
won
said.
their first 2 games. The Yankees have won the next 3.
So they have
The
a
game will be decided. The deciding game could be today, because
Yankees
if the
and
Yankees were
Houston.
to win, it'll be over. But if Houston wins, it'll be go to a 7th game.
Houston
But
still the Astros.
Yeah. Were the Yankees to win,
The Yankees and the Dodgers. That would be
like the 40s
old
and
times.
50s all over again.
It would be. I'd say a lot of fans are hoping that happens.
Well, yeah. I would like to see us play the Yankees now because those former stars of the Yankees, Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and Marty Ford and all those guys, Yogi Berra, they're gone.
Yeah.
So I believe our chances of winning would be better now. Okay, basketball.
Basketball. Not too far away.
Well, the NBA started this week.
Yeah, it did.
Tuesday night was first game.
The Celtics.
It's going to be something with James playing Irving instead of playing with Irving.
I know.
Isn't that something?
I'm excited because my team is the Celtics.
I know.
So, you know, I'm excited about that.
Okay. The Louisville Athletic Association officially this week fired Rick Pitino. They took it upon themselves. It's composed of students, administrators, athletic director, everybody that's involved in the operation of the facility there. They all formed this group, and they officially said, we want him gone. So they fired him.
Well, can't say that I'm shocked over that one. Are you?
No.
And I think there's going to be more to come for sure.
But don't feel too sorry for Rick Pitino.
No.
His contract went through
He's very
26
wealthy.
and 27. He'll get $44 million out of Louisville's pockets.
No, I don't feel sorry for him at all.
$44 million. They've got to pay him because
It's
they're firing
ridiculous.
him. They had he had a contract with them go through 20.
That's the bad thing about them contracts.
The schools get a good coach and they want to hold on to him, so they extend his contract when he can have a good year and extend it.
You have to be careful with that, don't you?
Well,
this is a prime example.
This is just 2017. He had 10 more years.
Oh,
That's foolish.
that's very stupid. Very stupid.
Did y'all hear me, Louisville? Okay.
Foolish.
Basketball, the SEC standings came out. Guess who's on top?
Like preseason, well, Kentucky.
Guess who's next to last?
Tennessee.
We're 13th out of 14 teams.
That's horrible.
That made me sick.
Yeah. I was hoping they were going to do better this year. Apparently not.
Okay, I've got one more thing to talk about, and that's cycling. Okay,
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Do you remember Michelle Marciniak?
Yes, she was a Lady Vol.
She was a Lady Vaughn.
Spinderella, they called her.
She has begun a trip from Knoxville to Marathon, Florida. It's exactly 1,198 miles. She wants to raise $1 for every mile to the Pat Summit Foundation for the awareness of Alzheimer's.
That's great. I'm glad she's doing that.
And so a lot of other people are doing it. They're calling the movement the Pedal for Pat.
I like that.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
And the money that will be raised, the man that's leading his name is Josh Crisp. He wants it to become an annual affair that will raise probably millions of dollars for the Alzheimer's Foundation.
Definitely.
One thing that Carolyn's Alzheimer's taught me, he taught me to learn how to spell Alzheimer's. I had a hard time spelling it.
It's tough.
I had to learn because I give more money to the Alzheimer's Foundation now than I ever did before.
Of course.
We had different causes that we gave money to over the years. Every year we'd send money to the Heart Association and to the Easter Seals and a lot of the things that we supported on a regular basis. And I don't know that Alzheimer's ever really raised a flag to get my attention.
Right, until this.
But now it has my attention.
Mine too. and something needs to be done.
And I should be more supportive of St. Jude because I'm wearing an instrument in my chest that keeps me alive.
Hey, you can go to Farm Bureau Insurance, which is a sponsor for our show, and you can buy St. Jude hats for $10.
Oh.
And all the proceeds go to St. Jude's.
You remember who started that, don't you?
No.
Danny Thomas. Remember Marlo?
Yeah.
That's it for sports of all sorts.
All right, we'll be back for some good old Albertology, his favorite part of the show, coming up after the break. Welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show.
One more time.
It's time for your favorite part of the show.
I like it. I really do.
Albertology. Thanks to our sponsors, Farm Bureau, Bilbrey Insurance, The Loom, right next door to us.
Yeah.
Erica's new business, Posh
Beauty Company.
Beauty Company. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Michael, Carolyn, Terry, Emma at the courthouse.
It's Lola's.
It's Lola's, our new one. Well, one of our new ones. She's back open. Scotty's on Main Street. He likes the Scotty burgers.
Going up a little further above them, and you got the Citizens Bank.
Citizens Tri-County Bank, long-time sponsor. Marvin Smith at the Highway Department. Subway on the bypass.
Yeah. How about out on the mountain on 30?
Oh, and Rustic Roots also.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that they're
go see Rustic Roots. It's a new business, folks. Go check it out. Yeah, Melissa and Rachel owners.
They had their picture in the paper.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. They're doing good. And you can get a massage there, too.
Oh, I could use that.
I know. Well,
and
Little Mountain Video.
Little Mountain Video.
Yeah. All right. Now we can do Albertology.
This is from Lala.
Lala's one that had those questions for you earlier.
Okay. I have got a stack of little ditties that she sent me that I could use.
Oh, I know it.
But this is timely, and this is my feature for today.
And WUAT listeners, real quick, tonight you can come to a Rook tournament at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Nickel Road Music Hall.
$20 a pair.
Yeah, per team.
Each team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you had 3 on a team, it'd be $60. No, $30. Okay. This is what she sent in, and I'll give credit to whom it is due.
Okay.
I am Old Glory. I am Old Glory, and for more than 200 years I have been the banner of hope and freedom for generation after generation of Americans. Born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom, I am the symbol of a country that has grown from a little group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. Planted firmly on the high pinnacle of American faith, my gently fluttering folds have proved an inspiration to untold millions. Men have followed me into battle with unwavering courage. They have looked upon me as a symbol of national unity. They have prayed that they and their fellow citizens might continue to enjoy the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness which have been granted to every American as the heritage of free men. So long as men love liberty more than life itself, so long as they treasure the priceless privileges bought with the blood of their fathers, so long as the principles of truth, justice, and charity for all remain deeply rooted in human hearts, I shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. This was originally written by Master Sergeant Perry Webb, United States Marine Corps. Thank you, Lala. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And this is some additional thoughts of hers.
Okay.
There is one thing in our world that does not change, and that is the United States of America. It remains free due to the strength and perseverance of the brave who have defended her. We are proud and we stand strong.
I like that.
I like that too. Let me see, I've got another one somewhere. Okay, listen to this one. This is again from Law.
This is the first time you said listen all day. I can't believe it.
This is very timely.
I should have got you a drink, shouldn't I?
I had my water ready to bring with me. This is what she says on this page. Stand up for the anthem because it stands for something.
I like that. I like
timely.
that.
Very
and it's
timely.
true.
Yeah. One flag, one land, one heart, one hand, one nation evermore. Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Where liberty dwells, there is my country. Benjamin Franklin. John Wayne said this.
Really?
John Wayne. Old guys rule. Sure, I'll wave the American flag. Do you know a better flag to wave?
There you go, John.
Way to go, John. John Wayne. I like John Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess we could finish up with the flag.
Mm-hmm.
The things that the flag stands for were created by the experiences of a great people. Everything that it stands for was written by their lives. The flag is the embodiment, not of sentiment, but of history. That was Woodrow Wilson. Politics ought to be the part-time profession of every citizen who would preserve what is good and fruitful in our national heritage. Dwight Eisenhower. Ronald Reagan said this one. Freedom is merely more, is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Ronald Reagan.
I like that.
She's got a lot more.
I'm going to have to get you some water, aren't I? You're choking on me.
I'll be all right. All right. This is about a country singer. You said you know her.
Kelsey Ballerini.
You know Kelsey Ballerini. Okay, but once upon a time, she was just a little 12-year-old girl.
Right.
And she was sitting in her bedroom over in East Tennessee, and she was listening to the radio. And while she was listening to the radio, she was scribbling down songs she wrote.
Mm.
And dreaming of being the singer that would someday sing those songs. Okay?
Yeah.
10 years later, instead of 12, she's 22.
Mm-hmm.
And that girl has a gold album.
Yeah.
3 #1 singles.
I know. What a way to debut.
Wow. But that's the true story of Kelsey Ballerini.
Oh, yeah.
She's 24 years old now and will release her second album unapologetically in November. Well, November the 3rd.
Oh, it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
The lead single from that album is very good.
She
it's called Legends.
Modeled her life after Shania Twain and
what a sexy woman to model that after.
Britney Spears too.
Okay. Yeah.
And Taylor Swift, I think,
was involved in that. Okay. So
anyway,
she liked all 3 of them.
She moved to Nashville when she was 15 years old with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she got a deal at 19, 4 years later. And her first single was Love Me Like
You Mean It. Went #1.
And that was in 2014.
Mm-hmm. I think her first 3 singles went #1.
Her second single was Dibs. It went #1. Third one was Peter Pan. It went #1.
Yeah.
So that's a success story.
I mean, definitely. What a way to debut. It's very hard to have your first album be that successful.
Kelsey Ballerini. That's a pretty
Kelsey
name.
Ballerini. She's from, I think, South Carolina. No, she's from Tennessee. She's from Knoxville. She's the one that's from Knoxville.
Yeah, East Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's something about these East Tennessee hills that people like to move into.
I know it.
But not a lot of them are moving into
And she's
Tyler.
pretty, too.
Well, that doesn't hurt.
Mm-mm.
Working at the school as monitor, periodically I would find a student taking a laser and flashing it, and I would pick it up. Sometimes he'd throw it on the wall, but sometimes it would go toward students, toward their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's an article by Marilyn. Ask Marilyn.
Oh, Lord.
An acquaintance sometimes
There's a
shines
hard.
a taser pointer at other people's eyes. Can this practice cause damage? And she says, in answer, it depends on the device. Some are unlikely to cause harm, but others can easily cause harm. The problem is that the person that buys it does not know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take it upon yourself to use the device to get someone's attention by flicking it in their eye, you may cause damage to their eye and not know it.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, people don't know a lot about lasers. But the final word is never aim a laser pointer, even if you think it's a toy, at anyone.
No.
But I'm not kidding. I have seen it
Yeah.
several times in school.
It's
But
dangerous.
you know, it tapered off. I don't believe I
Good.
saw one last 2 or 3 years.
Good. It's dangerous.
And don't buy them for your children.
No. And that way they can't use it.
Don't need them. Don't need them.
No.
What's their purpose?
Good question.
Just another gadget.
Yeah.
And we had to come out with a gadget called a gadget to show how foolish we are.
Exactly.
That's it. Back in 1947, this week,
Mhm.
Chuck Yeager became the first one to break the sound barrier out in California.
Really?
He was on a experimental Bell XS-1 rocket plane,
Mm-hmm.
and he broke the sound barrier in 1947.
So that is how many years ago?
23 and 17. 40.
Mm. What?
No. 53. 53.
Okay.
That'd be 70.
Yeah. But anyway, a long time ago. Long time ago.
And in 1912, Theodore Roosevelt was campaigning for the White House as the progressive candidate. They called him the Bull Moose candidate. Bull Moose.
The Bull Moose candidate.
B-U-L-L, Bull Moose.
Well, that sounds stupid. Why?
So he was in Milwaukee to deliver a speech. He had been shot
What?
and wounded in the chest by a New York saloon keeper, John Schrank. And he got up to make his speech even though he'd been shot. And he
Wow.
said, and this is what he said.
He's
in
a
his speech,
trooper.
it takes more than one
Bullet.
bullet to kill a bull moose. I like that.
That's funny. Oh, Bull Moose.
Now this is
Allie don't get it.
you remember here a while back we talked about Harper Lee's book To Kill a Mockingbird. It's not been but just a few months ago we were discussing it.
Mm-hmm.
In Biloxi, Mississippi. Have you ever been there?
Not to Biloxi, no.
I have. But the book that Harper Lee wrote, To Kill a Mockingbird, has been removed from the shelves of a junior high reading list for 8th graders.
Why?
They said that complaints came in about the book's language.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
People were uncomfortable because of the racial inequality that
You're
the
kidding me.
1960 book dealt with.
That's
in
how
that
it was then. Get over it.
small Alabama town.
But that's
That's history.
Okay. Though the controversial book was removed from the reading list for the junior high 8th graders,
Mm-hmm.
the book remains on the shelves in Biloxi schools.
Oh, good. It should. That's ridiculous.
The teacher and the people in authority
Mm-hmm.
said because of complaints,
Mm-hmm.
they would remove that book as a must-read book for their class in 8th grade.
I think they should have stood up to him and said no.
Well, I enjoyed reading the book, and
That's just history. These people can't change history, no matter how hard they try. I'm kind of getting tired of hearing it.
You might wish you could, but you can't.
But you can. I'm getting tired of hearing it,
There
really.
are 4 things that come not back. A spoken word, a sped arrow, and a neglected opportunity. But a spoken word, you can't unspeak it.
No.
So history is what it is.
Exactly. I can't believe they're complaining about history.
Okay, the fire's out in California. As of Saturday, 42 people dead, 53 missing still. All the houses and the businesses that have been burned and destroyed, they're fighting it with 840 engines from California and 170 from out of state. But they have narrowed it down. It's getting controllable now.
Good.
But it's the deadliest fire in the history of California.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
So they've had a lot of bad fires over the recent years.
Okay. Let me, I've got some stories I want to tell you about. Let me see now where my book is. Here.
You guys have snuck and turned the air off on me, haven't you?
Somebody did, but I don't know who did. I really don't know who did.
Because I'm feeling it.
Oh, let me tell you one more thing.
We need that little fan again, don't we?
On November the 11th, there's going to be an auction online. That leaves me out. But they're going to have 150 items for sale. Elvis's home is one of them in Tupelo.
No. Oh, okay.
I've been there. His pink Cadillac is going to be for sale. His jet, personal jet.
Wow.
And some of Marilyn Monroe's stuff. Tom Hanks'
uniform
that he wore in Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Julie Andrews' umbrella from Mary Poppins.
Yeah, from Mary Poppins.
Wow.
It's amazing. And some of Jackie
Kennedy.
But there's going to be but I never read who would be the recipient.
Oh.
Because some of this stuff has to be donated. Like somebody in Elvis's family's got to donate his pink Cadillac and jet.
Oh, I guess it'd be his daughter.
And the home. But who would want the home? It's a little bitty 2-bedroom bungalow. I'll tell you that.
I know, but they'll do it just to say I'm living in the house that Elvis lived in.
I don't think so. Anyway,
I think there'd be a dummy out there that'd do it.
All right. Let me give you some stories.
See, Allie agrees with me.
Oh, really?
It sounds so disappointing.
We went to the house and I saw no need to go back and see it again. Okay. If people fought sin as hard as they do middle age, Earth would be a moral paradise.
That's so true.
Fought sin.
That's so true.
And in Wyoming, now let me tell you, Wyoming is a big state full of antelope.
Right.
970,000 people were living in that state when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But in Wyoming, the minister was new to the state, and he asked one of his members to show him around the area. So after a harrowing drive along muddy sagebrush trails, the minister's car slid across the road and into a pit. With both men okay, the shaken minister asked his passenger, "Should we pray?" And the passenger grumbled, "How you think we got this far?" He was already praying.
He done started praying.
Okay. Last Christmas morning, after all the presents were opened, it was clear that my 5-year-old son wasn't thrilled with the ratio of toys to clothes he had received. And as he trudged slowly up the stairs, I called out, "Hey, where are you going?" "To my room," he said, "to play with my socks." I think he wanted toys. More.
I'd say so. He was disappointed. He must not have been very good that year.
I got one more.
Okay.
A friend was reading the front page on the newspaper.
All
When
right.
she asked, what part of the body is the melee?
The what?
Melee,
Okay.
isn't a part of the body, I said. I didn't think so, but it's right here in the paper. How is it used? It says a police officer was injured in the melee.
That's pretty good.
It really hurt, didn't it? That's my story.
Hurt him bad, didn't it?
That's my stories for today.
All right. Well, we will be wearing some shirts next week. Allie, do you have the bag, the tote bag? We'll remind people of this, and we'll read it on the show too. She wrote up something, but Miss Cranwell, Dr. Cranwell's wife, Sharon, I think's her name. Real nice lady come by here, and she's making these shirts, and they say, let's see, Pikeville proud, and loving life on slow time since 1818, and it's got a picture of the clock at the courthouse on it.
All right.
So I really like it, and all proceeds go to the food bank, the Lettsville County
See
Food
how
Bank.
much are they?
Well, I'm not sure right now. We will find, because we're going to be wearing them next week, so we'll find out. But she wanted us to wear them on here, so we'll wear them next week and talk about it. And we gave them away as prizes yesterday, also during the Top 10 Countdown on the radio. So
very good.
So we'll tell you more about that next week, folks. So be sure to tune in next week, because that's it for this week's episode of the Albert and Billy Show.
See you later, folks.